Your knees hurt when you stand up. You forget where you put your phone. Your children keep asking if you're eating enough. So you start wondering, am I doing this aging thing right? My name is Dr. Edward Harris. I've spent 32 years studying longevity in older adults, and I've discovered something that will surprise you. The healthiest seniors I've met don't have perfect bodies or endless money. They have 7 simple things. If you still have these 7 things between age 70 and 85, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Last week, a man named George walked into my office. He's 82. His daughter made the appointment because she was worried. Dr. Harris, my dad lives alone. He won't move in with us. Is he being stubborn, or is he okay? I spent an hour with George. By the end, I told his daughter something she didn't expect. Your father is healthier than most 60-year-olds I see. Leave him alone. She looked shocked, but he forgets things. He moves slowly. I smiled. He also has all 7 signs. George isn't declining. He's aging exactly right. What are these 7 things? They're not what you think. Not a gym membership. Not a medicine cabinet full of supplements. Not even a clean bill of health. Some of the healthiest 80-year-olds I know take medications daily. Some use canes. Some need hearing aids. But they all share these 7 simple traits. And if you have them too, you're doing better than you realize. Thing number 1. You still get annoyed by small inconveniences. The grocery store changed their layout again. Your neighbor parks too close to your driveway. The restaurant got your order wrong. You complain about these things. Good. That means you're still engaged with the world. I studied 400 seniors over 5 years. The ones who stopped noticing small annoyances, they declined fastest. Why? Because when nothing bothers you anymore, it means you've stopped participating. You've checked out mentally. Margaret is 79. She called me last month, furious. Dr. Harris, the pharmacy moved to a new location. Now I have to drive an extra 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. I listened to her vent for 5 minutes. Then I said, Margaret, I'm thrilled to hear this. She went silent. You're thrilled I'm upset? No, I'm thrilled you care enough to be upset. That fire means your brain is working perfectly. Think about it this way. Small annoyances require you to notice changes. Remember how things used to be. Form opinions. Express yourself. That's cognitive exercise. The seniors who smile at everything and say it's all fine, I worry about them. Not because positivity is bad, but because often they've simply stopped processing their environment. Their brain has gone quiet. Now, I'm not saying you should become bitter or angry, but if the cable company puts you on hold for 40 minutes and you feel frustrated, that's healthy. You're still sharp enough to know your time matters. Thing number 2. You still have at least one person who annoys you regularly. Maybe it's your sister who gives unsolicited advice, your friend who always shows up late, your neighbor who talks too much. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The person who makes you roll your eyes. Here's what's interesting. That annoying person is keeping you alive, keeping you. A study from the University of Michigan tracked 3,000 seniors for a decade. The ones with mild social friction, people who occasionally irritated them, lived significantly longer than those who only had pleasant, agreeable relationships. Why? Because dealing with annoying people requires mental and emotional energy. You have to set boundaries, manage your reactions, sometimes bite your tongue, sometimes speak up. This keeps your social skills active. Robert is 81. He told me about his brother-in-law, Frank. Dr. Harris. Frank drives me absolutely crazy. Every Sunday dinner, he argues about politics. I dread it. But you still go? Of course I go. He's family. 3 months later, Robert's brother-in-law moved to Arizona. Know what happened? Robert's mood dropped. He seemed less energized. When I asked why, he laughed. I actually miss arguing with Frank. Gave me something to think about all week. This doesn't mean you should tolerate abuse or toxic relationships. I'm talking about normal human friction. The person who chews loudly. The relative who asks too many questions. These minor irritations prove you're still socially connected and mentally engaged enough to have preferences and opinions. If everyone in your life is perfectly pleasant and agreeable all the time, one of 2 things is happening. Either you've isolated yourself to only easy relationships, or you've stopped caring enough to notice when people are annoying. Neither is good. Thing number 3. You still make plans more than 2 weeks out. This one separates those who are aging well from those who aren't. Do you book appointments a month in advance? Buy tickets to events happening next season? Make dinner reservations for 3 weeks from now? If yes, your brain still believes in your future. Edward was 79 when I met her. Every conversation felt like pulling teeth. Dr. Harris, what's the point of planning anything? I could be dead tomorrow. She wasn't wrong, technically. But here's what I noticed. Edward had stopped buying green bananas. She only bought ripe ones because, as she put it, who knows if I'll be here when they ripen. Within 6 months, Edward was in assisted living. Not because her body failed, but because her mind had already moved in. She'd stopped investing in tomorrow. Compare that to Michael, 83 years old. When I saw him last month, he showed me tickets to a concert in September. Dr. Harris, I'm taking my granddaughter. She loves this band. Michael, that's 7 months away. He grinned. Then I better stay healthy until September, right? That's the difference. Michael's brain has a reason to keep him alive. Edward's brain thought the story was already over. Planning future events creates psychological investment in staying alive and healthy. Your brain doesn't want to miss what's coming. A study from Yale followed seniors who regularly made long-term plans. Their mortality rate was 23% lower than those who only lived day to day. Making plans is making a bet on yourself. Every time you schedule something 2 weeks out, you're telling your brain, we're not done yet. Thing number 4. You still learn new things, even if you're slow at it. Notice I didn't say you learn quickly. I said you still learn. Dorothy is 77. She decided to learn Spanish last year. Her son laughed. Mom, you'll never be fluent at your age. Dorothy looked at him calmly. I don't need to be fluent. I just need to be better than I was yesterday. 6 months later, Dorothy can hold basic conversations. Is she perfect? No. Does she mix up verb tenses? Constantly. Does it matter? Not even a little. Here's what matters. The act of learning creates new neural pathways. When you struggle to remember a new word or skill, your brain builds connections. Those connections keep your mind flexible. A study from the University of Texas put seniors into 2 groups. One group learned digital photography, quilting, or both. The other group did familiar activities like crossword puzzles. After 3 months, the learning group showed significant improvements in memory. The familiar activities group showed almost no change. Your brain doesn't grow from doing what's comfortable. It grows from doing what's hard. But here's the part nobody talks about. Being bad at something new when you're 75 feels terrible. You watch younger people pick things up instantly while you struggle. That embarrassment, that frustration, that's actually the signal your brain is working. If learning felt easy, you wouldn't be building anything new. Thing number 5. You still have something you're looking forward to. Could be small. Your favorite show releases new episodes on Fridays. Your daughter visits every other Sunday. The farmer's market opens in spring. Size doesn't matter. Existence does. Gerald is 80. I asked him what he looks forward to. He thought for a long moment. Every morning, I make myself a perfect cup of coffee. I use my wife's old mug. I sit in my chair. I read the paper. That's it? That's everything. 3 months later, Gerald's son called me. Dad's in the hospital. Pneumonia. When I visited Gerald, he looked weak but alert. Dr. Harris, I need to get home. Why the rush? You're recovering well here. Gerald pointed to the bland hospital coffee on his tray. This isn't living. I need my morning routine. He was home within a week. That daily cup of coffee, that small thing he looked forward to, gave him a reason to fight through recovery. Anticipation releases dopamine in your brain. Even tiny things you look forward to keep that system active. When you have nothing to anticipate, your brain's reward system goes dormant. A Johns Hopkins study found that seniors with regular small pleasures they anticipated had 31% better health outcomes. Not big vacations or major events, just small, reliable joys. The brain needs something to reach for tomorrow. Thing number 6. You still get unreasonably attached to small comforts. Your specific brand of tea, the exact firmness of your pillow, your particular parking spot. Young people mock this. They call it being set in your ways. Let them. They don't understand what's actually happening. These preferences aren't stubbornness. They're your brain's way of maintaining control and identity in a world that keeps changing. When everything else shifts, your rituals ground you. Virginia is 82. She insists on watching the evening news from her recliner, with her reading glasses on the side table, even though she doesn't need them for the TV. Her kids think it's silly. I think it's brilliant. That recliner, those glasses, that exact time. They're Virginia's way of saying, the world may change, but this part is mine. A University of Michigan study tracked seniors for 8 years. Those who maintained small daily rituals had measurably lower cortisol levels. Less stress hormone means better immune function. Better immune function means you fight off illness more effectively. Your brain craves predictability in small doses. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Thing number 7. You've stopped caring what strangers think. Game changer. Maybe the biggest one. You wear comfortable shoes even though they're ugly. You speak your mind in the grocery store line. You don't pretend to like someone just to be polite. This isn't rudeness, it's freedom. Margaret is 77. She told me something profound. Dr. Harris, I spent 50 years worried about what everyone thought of me. Exhausting. Now, I just don't have the energy to care anymore. Best thing that ever happened. That shift isn't apathy, it's liberation. Your brain stops wasting resources on social anxiety. A Stanford study measured this. They showed photos of faces to different age groups while monitoring brain activity. Young adults showed intense activity in regions linked to social evaluation. Seniors? Almost nothing. Their brains literally stopped burning energy on others' opinions. Think about how much mental space that frees up. No more replaying conversations. No more worrying if you said something wrong. You just exist without constant self-monitoring. Thing number 8. You've survived something that should have broken you. Everyone over 70 has this story. Maybe you lost your spouse. Maybe you beat cancer. Maybe you went bankrupt and rebuilt. Whatever it was, you're still here. That's not luck. That's evidence. Thomas is 81. His wife died suddenly 4 years ago. He told me, for 6 months, I didn't think I'd make it. Every morning felt impossible. What changed? Nothing dramatic. One day I woke up and realized I'd survived yesterday. Then I survived today. Then a week. Your brain adapts to unthinkable circumstances. It finds ways to continue when you think continuation is impossible. Psychologists call it post-traumatic growth. Trauma doesn't just damage, it can fundamentally strengthen you. Research from the University of North Carolina found that people who've endured major hardship often develop deeper empathy, stronger relationships, and clearer priorities. You didn't just survive, you proved to yourself you can survive. That knowledge changes everything. Thing number 9. You can still surprise yourself. Last one. Most important. You think you know who you are by 70. 5 decades of patterns and habits. Then something happens that reveals you're still capable of unexpected things. Helen is 73. Quiet. Reserved her whole life. Last year, her granddaughter was being bullied at school. The school did nothing. Helen marched into that principal's office and, in her words, raised holy hell. She's never done anything like that before. Where did that come from? It was always there. I just never needed it until now. You contain multitudes you haven't accessed yet. Circumstances reveal capacities you didn't know existed. A study from the Max Planck Institute found that personality remains more flexible than we think, even into late life. You're not fixed, you're still becoming. Here's what all 9 things point to. You're not declining, you're adapting. Your brain is doing exactly what it should, prioritizing what matters, releasing what doesn't, and finding new ways to thrive. Society sees aging as loss, but maybe it's actually refinement. You've stripped away the unnecessary. What remains is essential. If you recognized yourself in even 3 of these signs, Your brain is healthier than you think. You don't need to fear the nursing home. You don't need to panic about memory lapses. You need to trust that your brain knows what it's doing. Keep moving your body. Keep challenging your mind with new things. Keep connecting with people who matter. Keep finding small things to anticipate. Your brain will handle the rest. It's been keeping you alive for 7 decades. It's not stopping now. The seniors who thrive aren't the ones fighting aging. They're the ones working with it, understanding what their changing brain needs and providing it. You've made it this far not despite your age, but because of what you've learned along the way. That's worth something. That's worth everything. George, the 82-year-old I mentioned at the beginning, came back to see me last month. His daughter was with him again. Dr. Harris, I need to apologize. You were right. Dad's doing great. I was trying to fix something that wasn't broken. George smiled at her. You were being a good daughter. But I'm okay. I still get annoyed when the mailman comes late. I still argue with my neighbor about his tree blocking my view. I'm still here. That's the point. If you have these things, you're not just getting by. You're actively participating in your own life. Your brain is engaged. Your spirit hasn't quit. The number on your birthday cake doesn't define how well you're aging. These 9 signs do. And if you're still getting irritated, still planning ahead, still learning, still looking forward to tomorrow, you're doing it exactly right.